All right. Jesus, Griminy here. I got to do this here now. Hold on here. Hey, 1 second here. Got to do this here. I got somebody coming up here. Hold on. Bear with me. Hang on. I got another one here. This is a two-shotter. Ow. All right. Yeah. He is the co-host of Birds 365. And we will do our top 10. I like that. We're going to start doing that on every Tuesday. Zander and I will do our top 10 quarterbacks. God, I can't wait to hear this thing. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button and give a round of applause for the co-host of Birds 365, our friend, Big Z, Andrew Krause.
What's up, Big Silz? What's up, JAKIB Nation? How's everybody doing today?
7,500 live chats yesterday. You guys killed it on a Monday coming out of the weekend. We can't thank you enough. Just absolutely insane. Really great. We appreciate you guys growing it and killing it too. So
unbelievable, man. And by the way, there's a lot of new people. It's not all the same people. I mean, I think Keith, I think you're pretty new here on JAKIB.
Yeah.
A lot of new names, a lot of new people checking in. And we appreciate each and every one of you for all the support of this channel. It means a lot to us. So thank you guys, man.
So let me ask you a couple questions before we get into our top 10 list here.
Yeah.
So do you think, how do you think Jalen has played in the first 8 weeks of the season?
Well, he's been up and down. I mean, just because you say he was elite this week, which I clearly said yesterday, and I strongly believe, doesn't mean he was elite in week 4 and 5 and 6, right? I mean, I think what we said in those weeks, just because it's not true now doesn't mean it wasn't true then, right? I mean, at week 5 and 6, I think there was a lot of questions about the quarterback. The last couple of weeks, it does look like he's more comfortable in the offense. He's getting through his reads and doing certain things a lot better. I think it's a very positive sign. And you pointed to it right after the game. It looked more like 22 than anything we've seen in a long time. And I think that's the formula for winning for this football team. And if he can do what he did these last couple of weeks, which is kind of Jalen's game. Jalen has never been a turnover guy in his career. So if he regresses back to that mean of, what he normally does in turnovers, I think we're in good shape simply because of all the talent around him. But I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, he's the greatest quarterback in the league because he had a solid week versus the 21st best defense in the league. I mean, he had a good week. He had a great week. He's had 3 weeks of turnover-free football. He's had 4 weeks of interception-free football, and he's starting to piece it together in this new offense. I'm encouraged by what I've seen in the last couple of weeks, but he's got to continue. He's got to keep building on it. But overall, I thought this week versus the Bengals was the best we've seen from Jalen Hurts this year and a very positive sign for this football team.
Here's my concern, and here's what you need to keep a look at if this number ends up improving. Remember something. When people go like this about numbers, Silz, you just can't go by the numbers. Why? Your Eagles do with analytics. Shit, they put their game plan together on numbers.
Yeah, so, I mean, I get it. You can't go all on numbers, though, and you know that.
No, you can't dismiss them because that creates trends. If a team does something on 3rd and 2, and they do it 87% of the time, that's what they're going to do 87% of the time, and that's more likely they're going to run that play.
Right.
That's what these numbers are trending to.
I mean, but your top 5 passers in the league are Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, Brock Purdy, and Lamar. Like, you're not.
No, but I'm saying
that perfect.
Well, wait a minute. Baker Mayfield's on pace for 45 TDs.
Baker Mayfield's having
4,600 yards.
Man. I mean, I know he threw 2 picks.
Will never do.
Yeah, I mean, he's without his two best receivers right now. He had 2 picks. I think he had 3 touchdowns this weekend as well.
Yeah,
I threw the ball 50 times. So they don't really have a running game in Tampa Bay either. So he's got a down bad offense. But
would you not agree?
I like Baker.
Would you not agree that those are 2 pretty damn good stories in Seattle and in Tampa that those guys turned their careers around?
No doubt. I mean, Geno reviving his career is pretty dope. I got to give him credit for that. And Baker, I always liked Baker coming out of college. I kind of liked that he had that swag as a small dude. As a smaller guy at quarterback, I thought that would serve him well in the league. Ultimately, it didn't early, but I think as he's matured, you're starting to see some of those traits that are really working for him, and that's why he's got almost 2,200 yards through 8 games this year. Pretty impressive stuff.
So Baker Mayfield throws for 330 yards last week without Mike Evans and
Yeah, pretty. I
Chris
mean, he had 2
Godwin.
picks, but he had 50 attempts, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's too many fucking attempts, man. For anybody. I don't care
you
who
ain't
you are.
winning shit. You ain't winning shit with 50.
No, that's too many, man.
Here's a number though that I want to keep everyone and keep an eye on this to seeing if the offense is going to get better and get closer to 22. In 2022, we found out that the Eagles were third in third down conversions. Right now, they're 23rd. And that means there's a lot of third and longs still with this offense. Now,
Yeah, I'd be curious.
that has not improved. That hasn't improved either over the last 3 weeks.
Well, they've been running the ball more on first down. So they've been getting a little bit better in their third and shorter situations, which obviously will help you succeed more. But the interesting part about the Philadelphia offense that you have to take into account when you factor in third down percentages is we're kind of a 4-down team almost always. It's like 1st and 8 for us, because if you're within 2 yards, a yard and a half, they go for it. Right. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a different factor in there where most teams don't do. I mean, I think you saw a team punt on 4th and inches this week. Like the Eagles just don't do that. So, but no, I hear you. I mean, they gotta clean that up definitely a little bit.
But I'll tell you one thing that's definitely evident when the Bengals were trying to go for it on 4th down versus the Eagles going for it on 4th down. The Bengals lost the ball game in the middle of the field when they gave that short field up. The Eagles were able to take the touchdown down the field and they were able to tie the game, and the game was never really the same after that. I mean,
no, you're right. I mean, I thought he made a couple bad decisions, Zach Taylor.
Yeah, that 4th and 1 out to the perimeter, that throw out there was stupid.
And early in the game, he got rid of it on 4th and 3, and he was already on the other side of midfield. I mean, and then they missed the kick. You got to go for that. That's where John always tells me how much Nick Sirianni does give the Eagles an advantage. Now, our personnel lends to being able to do it, but he is right about that. I mean, that technically gave the Eagles the lead in that game by the Bengals
and the momentum
in it by giving us the ball back, and then we took the lead after that going into coming out of halftime. So that was a big turning point in the game. It was really a 14-point swing there in a row. So definitely an advantage for the Birds when they're able to do that.
Please hit the like button here. Now let me go over to Jags here a little. By the way, how do you think you're going to now? Doug Peterson has showed up already at Lincoln Financial a year ago or 2 years ago. Was it that he showed up?
I think it was 2, yeah.
So I mean, how many times are you going to give a guy a pat on the back for winning a Super Bowl? Or are you going to go like this? Look, like I did in the first hour. Hey, I love you, Doug, but I got to kick the shit out of you. I don't mean to be this way, but hey, Doug, we love you, man. But guess what? I'm going to kick the shit out of you because isn't it kind of like you saying to your brother, like if you're playing against your brother in a sporting event,
yeah, right.
Hey, I love you, bro. I'm winning this bitch.
I'm going to beat your ass, yeah. No, it is. Here's what I'll say, though, about Doug, and this is going to start a lot different than it'll end. I think he will always deserve his flowers in this city as the only coach to lead us to a Super Bowl. I mean, we might talk about how great of an organization we are. This game comes down to one thing, and that's winning championships. And we got one Super Bowl in franchise history. There are fans in here who are 50 years old, 25 years older than I am, and they've seen the same amount of Super Bowls as I have. Doug Peterson deserves all the credit in the world. Now, on the flip side, I got bad news for Doug. I love you, Doug. I really do. I love you, my man. I think this could be Doug's last game coaching in the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That would be
terrible.
And
it could be the Philadelphia Eagles who will put the nail in the coffin, and he'll be fired Monday morning after we destroy the Jacksonville Jaguars. We will beat them by 3-4 touchdowns.
3-4 touchdowns.
We will destroy the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And then Doug will be joining the Kansas City Chiefs coaching staff.
And we'll be fucked.
4 days.
The AFC will be fucked.
Hey, okay. So since Jalen Krause said that here, let's take a look at that here because he thinks it's going to be an absolute blowout. Jalen Krause just said
You stop with these bullshit nicknames. Stop with it. The Pander Zander one is a joke. And by the way, you called me Z-Bone earlier. Where'd you hear that? Because
I just have these names. I'm the one that gave my daughter Dee the nickname.
Z-Bone has been my nickname in my family for a long
I
time.
have no idea what I nickname people sometimes.
My brother calls me Z-Bone, and I call my brother J-Bone. So it's pretty funny that you said that. I'm like, hey, my family calls me that. Good stuff, though.
Okay,
That
Jay.
used to be my gamer tag when I was destroying people on Madden back in the day in Call of Duty. Z-Bone.
Come on, Jalen Krause. I got some works here for you here. We'll get to all super chats. We'll read them here in a minute. So, who do you think has the advantage in the offense going into this football game? Let's go by what they've done with 8 weeks of football so far. So, and by the way, they've had guys in
Who
and
was
out.
the advantage, Silz? Is that what you just asked me?
Let me get to it. This is 8 weeks of work. The total offense for the Jags, they're 16th. Eagles are 9th. That's majority, though, because of the run. And Jacksonville's 325, 326 yards a game. Okay. Looks like the Eagles have the advantage. You're passing. Well, Jags go into this game with a better passing offense than what the Eagles do. They're 19th, and the Eagles are 22nd. Now, get this. They're 12th in running. This will be one of the better running attacks that you've played in the last 4 weeks, actually, 124 yards a game. The Eagles are actually second, obviously, with 166 to the Ravens. So you've got an offense that could put up 325 yards in total offense here. Interesting. Scoring, you're both, one's 21st, the other one's 17th. You're averaging 22, they're averaging 21. Oh, key. Red zone.
Look at Silz trying to
Wait a second. Wait a second. These are trends. Hold on. You're 22nd. You're 22nd.
Fucking Jaguars.
Red zone. The Jags are 22nd. Third down efficiency. They're 24th and you're 23rd. Wow. The only advantage you have is running the ball. It ain't throwing it. Over 8 weeks, it ain't throwing it.
What do you want me to sit here and say? I think we're going to lose to the Jags because
they
decided to run me some numbers.
That's not what I said. I said your 8 weeks versus their 8 weeks is pretty compatible, except for running the ball.
How about the number one thing?
Now, yes, let's go to the other side of the ball here.
No. You missed the big one. How many wins do the Jacksonville Jaguars have?
I'm talking about one side. Remember something, why this is important, our conversation? How many times do you see shitty teams beat good teams in this league every week? How many times do we come away with doing this? How did that team hang in there with that team? Or how did that team?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're right. I mean, you're not going to discount them. They lost the close game to the Texans. They lost.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference, though. Okay, thank you, Yale. By the way, what?
They lost 47-10 to the Bills. 35-16 to the Bears.
The Bills are a good team.
Yeah.
The Eagles have beaten one team. The Eagles have beaten one team.
Packers.
The Eagles have beaten one team with a winning record. I mean, don't make it sound like you're
Green Bay, I guess.
Yeah, Green Bay.
What about Atlanta? No, we lost to Atlanta.
Yeah, you lost to them. You beat one team with a winning record this year.
We lost to the Tampa Bay. No, we lost to we lost to the Bucs and we lost to
Atlanta.
And
you beat the Packers.
We beat the Saints. We beat the Packers.
You beat the Browns.
Giants, and Bengals.
All teams with losing records. Let me go on now. Hang on here, silly wise Jalen Krause.
I'm not silly wise anymore.
Hold on. I know you're not. Off of 4 quarters of football, you're ready to rock and roll with this kid again, and it's kind of funny. That's right. It's week to week, and people don't get that in this league. So here's where the difference has been. But there's a little caveat in here. I want you to see if you can pick out.
Okay.
Total defense. Jags are 29th. They surrender 382 yards a game. Wow, is that terrible? The Eagles surrender 300, but that's 7th.
And since the bye week, they're first.
Oh, we're going to start cutting the pie up and serving half the.
No, I'm looking at the trend. 3-game
Okay,
trend. Derek Brooks
fair.
used to say that all the
I
time.
love that.
Yeah.
That's a great comment. Passing, they're second to last. 231 yards on this team that they give up per game. They're the
The
second.
Jags?
The Jags.
Yeah.
And the Eagles are 10th in pass defense. But here, listen.
Okay.
The one thing that they do well, they're 8th in rushing defense. Okay? And the Eagles are 8th also with them in rushing defense. So the one thing they do well is they stop the run. So in my opinion, Zander, I think they're going to throw the ball in this game.
The Eagles are going to have to.
Yeah, I think they're going to throw the ball in.
So I see where you're going. You're going to say that the Jags are going to be able to shut down a run better than other teams.
Well, they're going to slow it down.
Right. So you're expecting the Eagles are going to have to pass to win the game, and you're questioning whether they're able to do that, right?
No.
Well, I think that's fair if you were. I'm asking you
when
genuinely
you're
if
the
that's your line
second
of
worst
logic.
pass defensive team in the league. That leads me to believe that you struggle all year. When you got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and this Calcaterra kid who's starting to get going here, here's where I think that rushing defense starts to become a little bit where what we're seeing with 22. If Jalen Hurts and Barkley get going, running the ball, I don't care if you're 9th or 1st against the run. You're not stopping them.
Yeah, I mean, do they have any injuries on that defensive line? Because
I think they got injuries also in their offensive pass game too with their wideouts.
The wideouts, I know. Both their top
and
two.
I think Etienne's banged up.
Etienne's out. I mean, look, they're in. So I get their offensive stats aren't bad, but man, what are they going to do this week? I mean, seriously, this is like 2020 Doug Peterson trying to save his job throwing a fucking Travis Fulgham. It's just not. I don't see it. I just
Nate
don't see
it.
Yeah, really. I just don't see it. But no, I hear. Yeah, I mean, look, there are some interesting matchups, and the NFL is a game of matchups, and that's where I think this could be interesting. Where if they are able to take away our run game, it'll put the question on Jalen of can you win the game in the air? Now, I think he's going to be able to do it, assuming that he continues to build off what he's done the last couple of weeks. But you're right, it is an interesting matchup. I mean, we'll see. Their defense is no slouch. They got some good players over there on that defensive side of the ball. So we'll see what they're able to do. But, you know, I think the team is out of confidence. I think the team is beaten down. And I don't see him being able to hang in this game in the link with our Kelly Greens on. I think Shady McCoy's jersey's getting
he's inducted into the Eagle Hall of Fame.
Eagle Hall of Fame. I don't know. It seems like a recipe for Eagles success for me this weekend. But look, it's still early. I'm not giving my prediction now, but the early feeling for me is that the Eagles get Doug Peterson fired on Sunday.
Well, that'd be wild here. All right.
You know who would love that?
Yeah, Howie.
Yeah, Howie would love that.
Howie would love that. By the way, all that being said, how do you think Nick's been the last 3 weeks?
Good, man. I mean, look, I got no problem. Here's the problem I have with
can he save his job?
Absolutely. But here's the problem I have with and you can put me in this category too, but really everybody that talks about the game. The Eagles go through a rough patch, right? And everybody is calling for Nick Sirianni to get fired. All the problems of the Philadelphia Eagles are on Nick Sirianni. Everything is Nick Sirianni's fault. The offense is Nick's fault. This is Nick's fault. This is
Angelo.
Now, all right. Now we rattled off 3 straight wins. The team looks like they're bought in after the bye week.
I agree.
They put together three of their best weeks of football, consecutively here. Is Nick going to get any credit? I think he deserves credit. The team clearly still bought into him. So you're right. I mean, I think he deserves credit. Yes, I'm not taking anything away from Nick Sirianni. I'll call the spade when he's bad, but I'm also going to give him credit when the team succeeds because I think he deserves it.
I gave him credit, but again, I still think there's signs where he still gets in the way a little bit, like in those first scripted plays. Now, that's an opinion. Okay? I have not had that confirmed.
He says if they win, he gets credit. Yeah, really? What have you seen more of this week?
I've never seen him. I've never
seen him.
Credit
for Jalen Hurts, credit for the offense, credit for the defense, credit for Vic Fangio, credit for Kellen Moore, or credit for Nick. And when it was all bad, Yale, it's not Kellen's fault. It's not Jalen's fault. It's not the players' fault. It's Nick Sirianni's fault.
But the organization paints it that it's Howie that gets the kudos and the roses for that, not him. You guys, everyone says Howie hires the staff, the the personnel, all of that. It's why he doesn't get the roses. He doesn't get the roses. He only gets the shitballs.
Yeah, I don't get the whole like. Is there any great organization in the history of pro
No,
football that is won on the backs of the front office? The
no,
guys wearing
absolutely
suits.
not.
It's
Absolutely
coaches and
not.
players. Why don't the Eagles understand that?
That's why there's
It's a
so
player
few
league.
GMs
These are
in the
the
Hall of Fame.
greatest athletes on the planet, the greatest football players in the world. It's not it's not guys wearing suits.
It's not.
If you want to do that, go be great on Wall Street or go do something else. Go be a business owner. There's plenty of other fields you can play in that quantify your success that way. Being an NFL GM is not that.
And by the way, for Howie to want the credit for it, I think is bullshit. I mean,
I agree.
mean, most general managers.
I think it's partly the
Have
whole
you
Chip
ever
Kelly
seen Brett
fiasco.
Veach at a press conference?
No, and I think I really believe it's the Chip Kelly fiasco because look at how the owner handled it before that. Andy Reid had all the say,
Yeah,
and then
Joe Banner.
Well, Joe Banner helped, but
Yeah,
Joe
I
Banner
never saw
didn't.
Joe Banner. I
Joe
never saw
Banner
Joe
didn't
Banner
have a
at
role
press
like
conference.
Howie has. Joe Banner didn't have a role like Howie has today.
No,
He doesn't. He didn't.
no, he didn't. No, I get it.
Andy had all the say, and then they gave it to Chip. Now, Chip was a bad hire, but the philosophy was the coach was going to control everything. Similar to New England, similar to Kansas City, similar to all the other great organizations that win a lot of Super Bowls. You know, even the Dallas Cowboys of back in the day. You know, look what happened in Dallas since they got rid of the coach and made it a GM operation.
Absolutely. It's never been the
How's
same.
that working out for them, right? I mean, I'm not
30
trying to
years
criticize
losing.
the front office. I think they do good things, but I think they're naive in that they believe they're responsible for the success of the team. That's where I think they fall short.
They're absolutely not. But get this. They're there to help the coach. They're not there to guide the coach. The coach is the one that has to guide the team, guide his staff, guide his players. Philly. If that doesn't represent a coach guiding a team in Philadelphia more so, hey, that is absolutely anti-Philadelphia Eagle front office. Do you think Howie Roseman and the analytics department and Julian Laurie would have called Philly in that game?
No way. I mean, I don't think most coaches would have called that, but no, it was the feel of the game. It was the trust in the players. It was the moment. And you're right. I mean, they would have never called that play. So it's a good point though, as to why, they're more important than the front office, but you need both. I'm not trying to diminish the front office either. I think you do need a good front office.
You do.
I mean, Brett Veach has done a damn good job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid would be like, yeah, I love Brett Veach, right? Now he doesn't get in the way of my football, but he gets me good players and he gets me the contracts done and he signs the players I tell him he needs to sign. So from that perspective, I think you still need a great front office.
Let me give you a Kansas City for the last 50, 60 years has been a really good football organization. They win 10, 11 games. They used to win the AFC West, but they were never really Super Bowl contenders. What changed it? Andy Reid. They got great coaching. Do you think it's ironic that Andy Reid, when he was in Philadelphia,
they also got Mahomes? I mean,
but wait, okay, well, that's also a product to him.
I agree.
Let me give you kind of the carbon copy of what went on in Philly now going on in KC. You think there's any coincidence that Andy Reid had Jim Johnson as his D coordinator and now he has Steve Spagnuolo? That he had the top flight defensive coordinators in pro football at the time? Maybe you could say Monty Kiffin in Tampa. Both those guys, they had two elite guys. Then they also had no wide receivers. They believed in tight ends. I mean, they only had one wide receiver ever there. That was Owens, and he lasted only a year. And you had a quarterback in McNabb. And for whatever it is, I hate McNabb's attitude, but I'll say this. Better than Bledsoe. He was better than Romo. He's better than Dak.
McNabb is pretty easily the greatest quarterback in Eagles history.
Absolutely. He's the most accomplished postseason play.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's pretty easily, for all the gripes that somebody might have with McNabb, and I've said some of mine.
Oh, he knocks on the door.
Yeah, he's definitely easily the greatest quarterback in Eagles history.
He
far
kept
ahead of Jalen
for 5 straight years, dude. 5 straight years. He kept you around the rim. I mean,
Mr. International, you say you hate Donovan, and look, I'm not the biggest fan either. I got to be honest with you, but he was the greatest quarterback in Eagles history, right?
I'll tell you what, though, for a 5-year run, Jalen Hurts has a long way to go before you put a 5-year run like that guy put together, where you're in 5
No, you're
AFC,
right.
NFC
Yep, you're right.
championship games in a row. And get this, you may have tripped 4 other times. I'll give that, and I understand that. Okay, that's part of the conversation too. But I will say this: he's been more consistent in his career at the start of his career than what Hurts has been. There's no doubting that McNabb has been.
Yeah. Well, McNabb had a lot of skill. I mean, McNabb could
tremendous skill.
McNabb could throw throw the pill, man. He could launch that ball.
Reminds me of a little bit.
And look, Crowley says it best, right? I mean, McNabb never could. He couldn't sniff a roster like Jalen Hurts has right now.
No way.
Now, I'm not criticizing Jalen for that. That's not Jalen's fault, right? I mean, what are you going to criticize him because he got a great roster? No. But you are going to point out that McNabb did a lot more with a lot less. It was a different era of football, but still did a lot more with a lot less.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Marty Morning, like a good call there.
Yeah, Marty Morning with that entire coaching staff that Andy had pointed out.
High school. I think he went to my high school. Yeah, Skyler, right? Yeah, he went to St. Joe's Prep. Or did he go to LaSalle? One or the other. I watched him either on our team or against. I forget it. It's all blurry to me now. But, yeah, I remember watching Skyler in high school.
Who have been the most impressive Eagles the last 3 weeks?
I think you got to go linebackers. And you got to go the quarterback. Now, Saquon's up there, but I'm almost at a point now where I expect Saquon to be a great running back, especially with this offensive line and the team around him, that the teams don't have to focus on him. So I'm almost like expecting that. Linebacker, though, Silz, we had the two. Now, whatever you want to say about PFF, I get it. You might not like them.
No.
The two highest grade linebackers, not on the team, not in the game, in the NFL this week. In the NFL, Fred Warner played. All the two highest grade linebackers this week were Philadelphia Eagles, Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean. I mean, we were hoping to have a middle of the pack defense with shitty linebacker play. If those linebackers can be competent, I mean, look, our defense right now is a top 10 defense. Now, will they hold that? Yeah, it's a big question. We'll see if they're able to do it. But if those dudes step up, this defense is going to be a lot better than we expected. And similar to something you said earlier in the week, I think it was yesterday, they're way ahead of schedule. That defense. With Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, I think finally you're starting to see flashes from the Georgia guys on the defensive line with Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter, who's playing up to his talent right now. So I think the defense is way ahead of schedule, and that will help the offense. That's the other thing, I know it's an offensive league nowadays, but you need a great defense. I mean, you want to win Super Bowls, you need a good defense too.
I think you have to have a competent defense.
Right. But if you have a great defense, how much of an advantage does it give you?
Enormous.
Would Patrick Mahomes have won a Super Bowl last year without a great defense?
But they wouldn't be undefeated right now without that defense.
Agreed. And they're now a defensive football team.
They are.
So I think that it would serve the Eagles to continue to build that defense. And, you got to give credit to Howie. I know you've been hard on him with the draft picks on defense, and it's still early. I'm not making the proclamation that they're all panning out, but it certainly looks like he's got some players on that side of the ball right now that are really stepping up. There's some misses. Bryce Huff he's on the milk carton for life. I think
him and Davis.
What's that?
Him and Davis.
Yeah, Davis is the hard part with Davis is that he's actually doing okay as a nose, but the dude's playing 20 snaps a game. That's not a 13th overall pick. But he's doing okay as a nose, and it's helping the rest of the defense a little bit. But no, you're right. I mean, he's kind of a milk carton guy too. Him and Bryce Huff, but you got Zach Bond, Quinyon, Cooper DeJean, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith finally showing something. We got to see a little bit more from him, but he is showing something. Josh Sweat's having a solid year. Like I mentioned, the linebackers are stepping up. I mean, your safety play is solid right now. Not great, but not bad. Solid. Overall, the defense has performed this year and has turned it around in the last couple of weeks. I gave you the stats yesterday on what they are since the bye week. Pretty insane what Vic Fangio has done with this defense since the bye week. So if they can keep that up, man, this team could go far because, boy, I mean, we were talking about it this morning on Birds, and you were kind of talking about it too. Is it just me, or does the NFL suck this year?
Oh, God,
it's wide open, dude.
It's wide open, man. It's
wide open.
People call it suck football, but the NFL calls it parity, and that's just code for sucking football. I mean,
I know.
And you know where
it also means if you're a good team, you take advantage of it.
But you know where it's affecting? It looks like the defenses in the NFL, man, they look like they made a priority or something this year, because early scoring was down. Now you're starting to see it come back around again. I mean, you're seeing teams upset each other week in and week out here. Let me give you my three guys. Barkley has been more than I ever thought I would think he would be. I am just unbelievably shocked how good he is. I mean, that's a really good-looking football player, man. I keep pointing out to everyone that, sometimes you get clouded by poor quarterback play. Look at Najee Harris, and I point out to you, Najee's on pace right now for his fourth consecutive 1,000-yard year. That's something Barkley never did. Now, how about this? He was in Pittsburgh, and his quarterback was Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett, and he still got 3 1,000-yard rushing seasons, and now he's on pace for 1,300 yards because why? They got a competent quarterback back there now. Last 3 weeks, he's averaging over 5.5 carries a game, 5.5 yards a carry the last 3 games because you put a competent quarterback back there. Look what happens when you really got somebody back there, and look at the impact that Hurts. I think Hurts has impacted Barkley's play so much that Barkley must be going, man, if you just had somebody competent back there for me in New York, I would have done the same thing back there for you. I mean, it's incredible on what he's brought to the table. I won't lie to you here. I didn't know how his pedigree at picking corners blows. He has been terrible. But this kid, Quinyon Mitchell, he's getting targeted a lot. But these are 8 football games he's played pro ball, and it looks like he fits. You know how long it takes for a rookie?
He looks better than Fitz, dude.
No. What I mean by that is, you know how many rookies get in a game and they don't look like they belong right away?
I know.
From day one, he looked like he belonged. I mean, all super chats will be read at the end.
Yeah, let me just tell you, though. Look, he's played some top wide receivers. Drake London had 5 yards against him. Chris Olave had 23 yards against him. Mike Evans had 19 yards against him. Cooper had 10 yards against him. Malik Neighbors had 9 yards against him. And Jamar Chase had 16 yards against him. This young man is really playing good football. And somebody brought up, is he as good as Sauce? Well, Sauce had a great rookie year, but rookie year doesn't get you everything in the NFL. You got to keep it up. Sauce Gardner's getting burnt right now. Burnt. He's been burnt toast for the Jets. All of a sudden, the Sauce Gardner of rookie year is not there anymore, and New York's looking around. Where the hell's our star cornerback? Well, you got to keep holding up. So Sauce is maybe a little.
Other side's better.
What's that?
That other corner on the other side's playing better.
Yeah, what's that guy's name again?
What's his name? Reed? What's his name? The other corner in New York? That kid's playing better football than him, man.
He's playing really good football. Yeah, DJ Reed.
Yeah, Reed. That kid on the other side is playing.
I'm saying I have not been impressed this year with Sauce Gardner, and I've watched like 4 or 5 Jets games. I am not impressed.
Surtain looks like he's back to being Surtain again.
Yeah, Surtain's. Bama.
I'll tell you this too. Another guy, dude. That guy plays with insane energy. And I'll tell you one thing, man. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean have brought to the Philadelphia Eagle defense. You know what it's brought? Youth. It's brought excitement. It's brought energy. Dude, the last couple of years, I didn't really see a lot of energy. Now, I get it in 22 because you had all them veteran guys. Last year, you had no energy on that side of the football. Everyone hated their job. What's his name? Reddick didn't want to play for the coordinator, the second guy. But, dude, I got to tell you, those guys are bringing a lot of love right now. Hey, you could say that you think that Q is better than Arnold. Arnold's got the best football team in pro football right now.
Yeah, no, he does. But individually, I do think Q has been a lot better so far than Teron Arnold. I like Arnold.
He's also on the top guys, too. He's also on the top guys. He's also on the top guys.
No, yeah, he is. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but it doesn't look like I'm not like wishing that we had him for sure. Q is a home run pick right now. So I'm really impressed.
I love how you tagged that right now. That's exactly correct. All right, Big Z.
Well, everything is right now, Silz. Haven't we? I'm a lot younger in my content career than you are. Everything when you talk NFL is right now.
But why do people have a hard time with that? Why do they really think?
Well, because look, it's at the end of the day, we step into this. So I'm not going to be mad when people get upset. Look, if you want to have a problem with something I
Flip-flop
said 4
league.
weeks ago, all right, good. Have a problem with it. I can only call it as I see it on a week-to-week basis, and I'm going to do that. Some people understand that. Some people don't understand that. But at the end of the day, we're in the Thunderdome, Silz. People are going to throw stones, and I'm all right with that.
It's a flip-flop league, man. 1 week it's this, 1 week it's that. 1 week it's this, 1 week it's that.
Hey, did Hassan Reddick play last week for the Jets or no?
He did. He had a goose egg. He did.
He didn't even show up in the stat sheet.
I know he didn't. I know he didn't.
So not only did he take on millions of dollars of fines, but he's
complete disaster. Complete disaster year for him personally.
He's not going to get paid in the offseason. He way overplayed his hand. Man.
Way overplayed his hand. Overplayed his hand.
Oh, by the way, let's give a little credit. I didn't really watch much of the game. I had it on my iPad. I was watching the World Series, obviously, and we'll talk about that too. But Russell Wilson, man.
Dude.
And credit to Mike Tomlin again.
No shit.
You go to a competent organization with a competent coach, and that's what you get. I mean, a couple of those throws he had last night. How about that?
That one down the sideline to Pickens.
George Pickens. You could not have thrown a better football than that.
Absolutely.
I mean, you couldn't. There's not a person in the world that you could get to throw it because that was perfect. That was the perfect throw. It was unbelievable to watch.
God, he was so good.
What was your take on the Pickens touchdown that was ruled no touchdown?
No. What was it?
Oh, you didn't see that? Yeah, I'm sure you were watching the series, but
I was watching.
He caught a ball and he tapped the same foot twice. So his left foot never hit the ground, but his right foot caught it and then he hopped it again.
No.
And the right foot was down again.
It says it in the rule book.
But that's fucking stupid, man. I'm sorry. It is. If my knee hits, it counts as 2 feet.
Hey.
If my elbow hits, it's 2 feet.
2 hops. No.
My
Your
calf
ass
hits, it's 2 feet.
Wait a minute. Your ass.
2 feet hit, it's not 2 feet.
Your ass and your knee, if they go down, they count if you're in.
I thought that should have been counted, man.
I've never heard of two. So a guy, he double hopped?
Yeah, watch it on Twitter after the shot. I don't want to bring it up because last time I brought up a clip, the NFL tried to copyright us. So I'm not going to risk any copyright on YouTube. No. Yeah, watch it after the thing. I thought it should have been a touchdown for sure.
All right. Here we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to read all the super chats, J-Bone. We promise you at the end of this here. By the way, guys, please hit the like button. You guys have been absolutely sensational as always. So here, who do you want to go first? Top 10 quarterbacks in the National Football League. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, listen, I mean, let me add some context before you go. 8 to 15 in the NFL right now is a complete and utter crapshoot, and you could argue it's even 8 to like 18. I mean, seriously, it's a moving board of chess pieces that really, depending on who you talk to and who they like, they'll have higher up than you.
Can you do that also with teams?
You can 100%, but more. Outside of the top 6 quarterbacks, which I really think it's only the top 6 that are set in stone, everything else is just interchangeable. I mean, there's just nothing there where I'm like, oh, he has to be above him. So let's go. We'll do it. But
all right.
My ranking is drastically different than it was 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh, but see, that's the league.
It's a league. Yeah, we're doing 2024 rankings. I'm not doing overall quarterback.
That's right. And by the way, that's why it changes every week.
Yeah, no doubt.
See, when you're a 79-year-old guy like Senor, and you got to sit there and just think that you got to land on the same take that you had in September, is absolutely asinine when the league changes every Sunday. He's such a stupid ass.
Appreciate you, Senor.
Yeah, whatever. Kiss my ass. Here we go. By the way, Senor, my balls are elite. That's what's elite. Here we go. Okay? All right. Big Silz. Top 10 NFL quarterbacks. Number 10. God, what an arm. This guy has one of the absolute best head coaches to play calling, and they're now going to be a force and a playoff contender in the entire year. He is the man from Oregon, Justin Herbert, at number 10.
No problem with that.
Number 9. I can't believe what I'm going to say. Jonathan Gannon is turning around the Arizona Cardinals. It's freaking unbelievable. And he's also turning around Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is on pace for 23 touchdowns and 5 picks and 3,900 yards, and he's playing Jalen Hurts football, and they're playing a lot like the Eagles in Arizona, and they're sitting at 4-4. That team, if you want to change uniforms, they don't have the roster the Eagles have. They're playing Eagle football, dude. I mean, and they could win the NFC West.
I can't say I'm a huge Kyler Murray fan, but he is playing well.
How about this? One team is going to come out of the West. They're not going to get 2 teams out of the West. They're not. Okay. Number 8. Holy cow. Has this guy made an impact in Hotlanta? Woo! Not even the birds can slow this guy down. He is Kirk Cousins at
Holy
number
shit.
8. Atlanta Falcons.
You got Kirk Shiesty in there?
He's going to throw for 4,700 yards and 39 touchdowns.
All right, you in the damn fucking yards, man.
No, wait, it's their trends on what he's meant to the offense. Hey, Kyle Pitts is now somebody. I mean, Desmond.
No, I like Kirk. I don't have a problem with Kirk. I think that's a little high for
Desmond Ritter, you think is really going to move the channel?
No, but I think 7 is a little generous for Kirk.
Number 6. About this guy riding the ship, and he's going to earn himself $61 million. And he gets on November 5th back Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy at number 6. At number 5, this guy has shut Big Silz up at least for 1 year about the Ohio State quarterback. C.J. Stroud, sitting there at number 5. Number 4, how does a guy have only 85 yards in passing, but yet has 3 TDs? I mean, what was he doing? Playing pitch and catch on the 2? I mean, that shows you running the ball, playing effective ball. Jared Goff right now has a quarterback rating that is out of this world. The last 4 weeks, he's over 150 for a quarterback rating. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's playing lights out.
And get this, Zander, he's playing better as he's getting older.
Well, yeah, he's learning more about and that's the style of quarterback that he is.
To your point, style of play plus good coaching. That guy, Ben Johnson, being his coordinator.
He does have he is one of those QBs though that has that style of play advantage where the longer he goes in the league, because he's not gonna, he's not running, so he's not gonna get overly beat up. He's gonna get better and better.
Number 3. I don't think you could ever have a top 3 without this guy in it. And 3 seems like blasphemy. I've got Patrick Mahomes sitting there at number 3. 7-0. They've won 13 consecutive ball games. They've beaten the Ravens. They've beaten the Niners.
I think he should be number 1 to me.
Right. Okay, sure. I mean, do you have a problem?
Wait, so Mahomes is obviously the greatest quarterback in the game. The guy is 7-1, and people are docking him. I'm not going there. I'm sorry.
Number 2, I got Lamar Jackson sitting at number 2 only because they took the L last week to the Browns last week.
And that means who?
Number 1, the man from Buffalo, Josh Allen. Right now, the number 1 quarterback heading into week 9 at the NFL. Herbert 10, Murray 9, Cousins 8, Love 7, Purdy 6, 5 is Stroud, 4 is Goff, 3 is Mahomes, 2 is Lamar Jackson, and 1 is Josh Allen. Hang on for a minute. I don't see one guy in there. I mean, I don't see one guy. All right. Let's hear yours now here, Pander Zander.
All right. Well, look, they're not that much different, but like I said, 7-15 is a fucking crapshoot.
Did you hear my guy Randy Cross take a shit on me getting on here today, calling Hurts an elite guy? I almost killed him. I text him.
No, he didn't really say he was elite.
I go, you're fired.
I listened back to it. He said, if you're one of the people that thinks top 10 to 12 is elite, then sure, he's elite. I don't. I think top 5 is elite. So he didn't say he was elite.
No, but
Technically, he
he's
said by
top
other
10.
people's standards, he'd be elite, but not by mine. It's
Mhm.
basically what Randy said. But number one, I'm going one first. Patrick Mahomes. He's 7-0. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion in a 7-year career. Stop it with anybody else is better than him. If you want to remove Patrick Mahomes from my list, don't show me interceptions. Don't show me all the bullshit. Tell me when somebody dethrones him, okay? And then I'll start talking about the conversation on Patrick Mahomes not being number one. Number two, Lamar Jackson. Playing great football. Didn't have his greatest week last week, but not a bad week. Solid. He's been the second best quarterback in the league, in my opinion. Number three, the greatness of Josh Allen. I hate to say it to you Eagle fans. I'm kind of almost silly-eyed on Josh Allen. I really like the player. He's a really impressive quarterback. Number four, I'm taking CJ Stroud there. I was going to put Joe Burrow. I was thinking Jared Goff. I'm going to go CJ. I think he has inherent talent right now. That's going to now he lost Diggs now, so let's see what he does. But I think he didn't have him last year, so I think he's going to be good. Number five, I put Jared Goff edging out Joe Burrow. So number five, I got Jared Goff who's just playing lights out. Number six, I have Joe Burrow. And now is when the crapshoot begins of take your pick. If you're talking to LJ, it's Jalen Hurts. If you're talking to Pander Zander, it might even be Jalen Hurts. It could be Jordan Love. It could be Jaden Daniels, which, by the way, I mean, I'm having a really hard time with the Jaden Daniels thing. Like, I know he looks good, but am I really putting this guy in my top 10 quarterbacks on 7 games?
Doesn't he look a little bit kind of like Stroud did in his rookie year where he's winning ball games and he's putting great numbers up? I mean, they're
Okay,
kind of
wait.
the
Let's just
same,
review
dude,
real quick. All right. I know he's got good numbers. Okay.
and they're
Hit
winning.
4 field goals and a lucky ass bomb in that game versus the Bears. That's it.
Okay.
He could. So wait, so I get it. He's got 5 or 6 wins, whatever he's got. That's not sustainable. You talk about things that aren't sustainable. He couldn't put together a drive, but you got a lucky Hail Mary
Your
to
metrics
get a
aren't
win.
wrong.
Great. Awesome. You made
But your
headlines and
metrics
Twitter
aren't wrong
talked
with
about you.
them when I apply that to the Eagles and say you've only beat one team with a
Look at
500
James
record.
Jones. James, that's not sustainable winning.
Hold on, James. Guess what? Guess what I'll do to him though. You know what's not sustainable? Putting up all these numbers against teams under 500. So you want to go down and use a metric here of like who they've beaten. You got a Hail Mary. Well, they've beat one team with a winning record. That's the
Yeah, but
Packers,
the
man.
Eagles can't control that.
Okay, well, when you're looking, well, then Bears can't either. They're finding a way to win. The metric has to work on both sides. It has to work on both sides. Let me hear the rest of your list. Let's go here.
All right. Number 7, I put Jordan Love. I think he's a little high, but he's a really talented football player, and you can see the flashes of it. He's throwing way too many interceptions right now, but once he cleans that up, I think he's going to have a real chance to be a dominant quarterback in the league.
Have you
And the
been
Green Bay
surprised?
Packers are playing really good football right now. What's that?
Have you been surprised about his
Yeah,
play?
I don't know. I kind of always felt like he was going to be good. I didn't think he was going to be this good this quick.
I didn't think Green Bay would have 3 in a row, though.
I know, and that's where John's like, it's unbelievable what they're doing. So you could maybe argue me on Jordan Love, but I like the player a lot. That might be more of a Zander bias than anything. Number 8.
Oh, God.
Number 8. The greatness of Jalen Hurts cracking my top 10
God.
because, I had him 9, and then I'm like, fuck Jaden Daniels. The dude won on a Hail Mary. He's got 7 games in the league. I'm not putting Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts, who's 30-9, who's been to a Super Bowl, and who's finding his rhythm in an offense. He completed 80% of his passes last year. He had 4 total touchdowns, no interceptions in 4 games, no turnovers in 3 games. I'm sorry, James Jones. You're going to have to get out of here. Jaden Daniels, number 9. And number 10, I'll put your man Kyler Murray.
Good grief almighty. Did you hear what he just said about Jalen Hurts? So here, let me put it in perspective here for all you guys. And we're talking
I'm
about
not saying fuck Jaden Daniels. I'm saying
Hold on
the
here.
dude has 7 games.
Hold on here. Well, we're only talking about the 24 season. We're not talking about careers here. And we're talking about the 2024 year here. So right now, Jalen Hurts is on pace for 3,700 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 10 picks. I I don't know how anybody in their right mind for the first 8 weeks could say that that's an elite quarterback there right now when you got just as many interceptions almost as touchdown passes. Yes, different conversation is Silz, he's trending in the right direction the last 3 weeks. Well, unfortunately, the last 3 weeks doesn't encompass the first 8 weeks of the season. We're talking about right now, 2024, who's played the best football at the quarterback position. Or Hurts has played really good ball the last 3 weeks. I get it. I hear you. I seen it. Those 14 passing attempts. I got it. I'm right in there with you. I'm in there. But the first 8 weeks of the season, this guy has been, I don't know, okay. I mean, dude, you would never even put him next to Mayfield's going to throw for 4.
I know, but look, all right,
Mayfield
look.
has 21 touchdown passes.
I agree. I'm being a little Eagle fanny with it, but here's why I went there, because, and this is the list of crapshoot where you can basically pick your names, right?
You can.
Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert, Matt Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Geno Smith, Jalen Hurts, and Jaden Daniels, right? I mean, depending on who you talk to.
Shit, even Trevor Lawrence, he's ninth in passing yards. Trevor's ninth in passing yards. By the way, you say he's had a bad year? Okay, well.
I'm not saying he's had, yeah, but what's up with you in the passing yards?
Because the passing yards, the reason I brought the topic up today was Kellen Moore was brought in to improve Jalen Hurts as a passer, not as a runner. We already knew he was an elite runner. He was brought in to improve him as a passer.
He was brought in to build a great offense.
It's not been great. You're 22nd in passing. You're number one in one thing. You're number two in the thing you do great for the last without him here. That's running the ball. Great.
We're top 10.
He made no impact on your offense so far when it came to running the ball. You've always been good at it.
Dude, the top 5 passers in the league are like Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield. Like, it's not a good stat. It's not the right stat to go by.
Okay. So then, like I said, okay.
Kirk Cousins has led the league in passing how many times? How many Super Bowls does he have? Like it's just not. Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards 1 year. Like, it's just not a good stat. I don't really care for passing yards that much.
Here's why that is a flawed comment here. If that's the case, why are your Eagles spending up $51 million then for wideouts and spending $50 million on a quarterback if they don't believe in the passing attack?
I'm not saying they don't believe in the passing attack. It's not boiled down to what the numbers are, though.
You're paying those guys to put a passing offense together, not be second in rushing.
No, but it's a whole collective. It's a team sport, Silz.
You're 22nd in passing and you're second in rushing. And you know why? Because Barkley and Hurts have.
You're acting like it's 3-on-3 out there, dude. It's not. It's not schoolyard.
Why are you paying these guys then if you're not trying to improve your passing attack?
Because it makes your offense better.
But it hasn't.
Yes, it has.
Your passing game is lesser even than the Jets.
You're talking about the passing game. I'm talking about the offense.
The trends are still there that this team does not throw the ball well. They're 22nd.
The offense is good. They're top 10
offense. Offense is unbalanced right now. It's not good. He's taking off the Cincinnati game that it's good. Okay. Now I get it.
I'm just not infatuated with passing yards.
Why? The Eagles are.
Because Jalen Hurts was 16-20 this week, and he had 230 passing yards. And someone could go and say, "Oh, Baker Mayfield threw for 400 yards." I don't give a shit. We won the game. You know what I care about in quarterbacking? I care about efficiency. Jalen Hurts had no turnovers this week, and he was 80% completion percentage.
Okay, get this in taking. He's 25th in taking sacks. And success rate, he's 15th.
25th, you mean 5th or 7th?
No, 15th this year.
No, 25th in taking sacks would be good.
No, he's at the bottom in taking sacks.
And sack rate. Okay.
Sack rate. My bad. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. He holds on the ball because he's a playmaker. He's not a slinger. He's not a pocket passer. There's pros and cons to that, which you're going to have to live with.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I wonder what Howie and Jeffrey are thinking when you have your passing attack is 22nd.
Well, no, the other thing I factored into my quarterback evaluation for this list which will change every week, by the way, is wins. And that's why I had a hard time knocking Jaden Daniels too a little bit because, Brock Purdy, I like him. I think he's a good player. I think he fits well in the system. He's not winning right now at a high rate. Sam Darnold has won, but I just don't believe in Sam. Baker Mayfield, I'm not putting it on him, but they don't have a lot of wins.
He did beat you.
What's that?
He did beat the Eagles.
Well, he did, but they're 4-5 right now. Now I know I'm not blaming Baker. I'm just saying.
Are they? I think
4-5
or something like that. But go ahead. Yeah, I think they're 4-3 or something like that, or 4-4.
No, I think they're 4. Well, no, 4-5. They can't be 4-5. We're only through week 8.
No, they're not. They're not under 500 yet. Okay, they're not under. I think they're either
4-4,
4-4, 4-3, or something like that. I think there's something.
Record. Yeah, they're 4-4. Falcons are 5-3. I mean, the Eagles are 5-2. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, I think Silz, and I understand that your point, and I understand wins aren't entirely a quarterback stat.
No, but
for the people who push back on your arguments, right, or who say you're a Hurts hater and you're wrong about Jalen, I think there's like a simple. People say believe what you see with your own 2 eyes. This has been a very winning team since Jalen Hurts has been the quarterback. Whether you like Jalen or not, whether you believe in his style, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about just in general, whether you believe in his style of quarterbacking or not, this team has won a lot of fucking football games with him, man. A lot. He's been the winningest quarterback maybe in Eagles history in terms of percentage.
But no one's debating this. I'm talking about championship football.
I'm just saying, I think there's a general eye test thing of people why am I being told my quarterback sucks when we win? We win so much.
Okay, well, then let me rephrase that question of yours. Do you see championship football right now?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I think the Bengals.
You see winning football, right?
I see winning football, and I think the Bengals game was the best sign yet we've seen. But, you played versus a 21st ranked defense. You're not going to play versus that late in the playoffs. So you're going to have to keep building. I'm not saying that. I'm not ready to crown them now. I'm just saying I will say I have been more encouraged by the progress of the last couple of weeks. And I was encouraged by what we did versus the Cincinnati Bengals because Jalen did throw the ball. I mean, I know it wasn't too much, 20 attempts. He was
they ran really well to open up the passing game like they did in 22.
Plays in the air. He had a nice deep ball to Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown was involved. He got Calcaterra involved. I saw things there that I'm like, okay, now you're starting to find that rhythm, right? And if you go back to our conversations in the offseason, we talked a lot about how Eagle fans might be disappointed early in the year because it might take a little bit to get this thing going. So if I go off the trends and now I'm going to project, which I don't know if this is going to happen, the projection would be, okay, it took a little bit in the first 6 weeks to figure this offense out. Now they're finding their groove, right? Now they're finding what they want to do.
I don't know
if they found work better.
I think they have now protected the football the last 3 weeks. I don't know if the offense yet has found their groove yet until they start to see a couple more games here.
Well, they did just drop a 37 burger.
Yeah, but like I said,
it should have been a 40 burger if it wasn't for a shitty holding call.
Again, like I said, I want to see more than 3 hours of football.
I get that. I'm just telling you what I'm going on.
I said, how they win and how they lose is going to matter to me. If they look the same and they're in tight games and they lose a game by a point, I'm not going to take a shit on that. Because if they look like that and they're building like that and they're going to play like that, so look at Baltimore. I'm not really taking a shit on Baltimore because they lost to a guy they hadn't prepared against with Jameis Winston. That's a coaching thing and a player not being ready to play against the Browns. Plus, it's the divisional foe. Hey, man, those games happen to everybody. You end up getting upset like that. I get it. So I'm not going to totally take a shit on that because they played great ball. I look at the overall body of work and what you've done. That's why last year when you guys were out to that great start, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really seeing great football right now. And it played out that way. I want to see more than Cincinnati. By the way, again, I think Cincinnati validated Cleveland and New York more. That means now more to me because now I add the turnovers in, they're running the ball better. Now you take it into the Jags game. By the way, just because the Jags are shitty, it's not the Eagles' fault. Play to your strengths. Play the way you want. Keep that trend going.
Well,
and then when you get into those really tougher games coming up on the back end of the Jags, then you're really going to know who you are after those 4 weeks.
Yeah, you're about to learn a lot more. I would agree with that for sure. But let me ask you this. If the Eagles are able to extrapolate what they did versus the Bengals and kind of make that their usual play, or let's just say that's their baseline, you think they're a Super Bowl contender?
I do, because it reminds me of 22. Because what's the one thing they're going to do with the limited passes and with the running and playing better defense? What's allowing them to play like that, Zander, is because the defense is coming along quicker. The defense is now coming along here where you're not going to be behind in the game. You're not going to be behind the sticks. I've always told everyone in here, if Hurts plays like 22, you are a Super Bowl team. If he plays like 23, you're nowhere to be seen. Last couple trending games, we start the Browns game and the Bengals game. You're starting to see a little bit of that. And I truly believe in my heart that Saquon Barkley has forced the hand of that offensive people. And that, you know what Kellen Moore said today? Kellen Moore said this today. And this makes me even now. And you tell me if I'm overreading this here. Kellen Moore said this when someone asked him the question about how they prepare for an upcoming game. Here's what Kellen said. Someone asked him about the first 20 plays and how they script the plays out. He goes, it's a giant process. Every coach on the offensive coaching staff has a say in the process of us putting together the first scripted plays. Jeff Stoutland has say. Everyone has say. Then we come up with a process to put our game plan together. That just tells you right there that it's too many hands in the opening part of the game, and that the offensive coordinator doesn't really have the autonomy that Vic Fangio has, Vic has the complete autonomy on the defensive side. And Zander, I think that's why the defense is coming along quicker and it's taking the offense slower, because there's too many fucking mouths open and there's too many hands on the damn game plan.
Yeah, but it's remember, the coaches are learning too.
Hang on. It's coming along slower on that side because of too many mouths.
No, I think you're right about that. But, the coaches are learning too.
Yes.
I mean, it's an offensive coach who hired an offensive coordinator. There's going to be these are humans, everybody. It's not a fucking algorithm. It's not Xbox where you turn it on and it just starts working because you got two offensive minds. So I think there's a little bit of learning curve there too. And here's what I'll say. Football is the ultimate team game. So as we sit here and talk about quarterbacks, yeah, a lot of the quarterbacks ahead of Jalen Hurts on this list, I don't think any of them, I think most of them, including my number 2 quarterback, have much less of a chance at winning a Super Bowl than the Philadelphia Eagles do. Because the defense for the Eagles is way ahead of schedule and way better than we were expecting. The offense is finding rhythm, and Jalen Hurts is getting back to 22 form, potentially, if he does what he did in the game versus the Bengals. And I think the NFC is a different conference. The reason I say that about the Ravens, I love Lamar Jackson. He's playing lights out football. I don't think they have a chance in hell at winning a Super Bowl. You know why? Because they got to go through the AFC. And in the AFC, you got to be able to pass the football and win in the air in a big way. And I don't see them yet being able to compete with the Josh Allens.
That's why they made the move for that wideout. That's why they made that move today.
I agree.
For that wideout.
Now Eagles on the other hand, the NFC, the best team in the NFC is through 8. How many passes did Jared Goff throw last week?
4, 5, 6.
The best team in the NFC are bullying teams. If we find that identity, we can bully our way right through the NFC. And if our defense is let's just say might be a top 10. If it's top 10, you're giving yourself a good chance in that title game. Now, you might not win it, all right, but shit, man, like I'm starting to believe in what the Eagles are showing me. Am I being maybe green-colored glasses? Maybe a little bit. I don't feel like I am because I feel like this team really does have a lot of talent.
I don't see anything near that, but go ahead. I don't see anything near that. I mean, I'm looking at the first 8 weeks. I'm looking at the first. Hold on. I'm looking at the first 8 weeks of how they've played. The only people I'm not going to worry about San Francisco and Detroit. I'm going to worry about Philly. Get your rhythm going. Get like Kellen Moore said today in the presser. Get your rhythm going. Get everybody on the same page. Take care of Philly first. Then you worry about the Lions, Zander. Get that thing going right. And get that going. When you start looking up and looking around at the rest of the conference, that's when you're going to get beat and upset by a team like Jacksonville. Worry about what you have to do, because the only opponent that can beat the Philadelphia Eagles this year is the Philadelphia Eagles, really. Well, because watch this. Is there anybody in the NFC this year that Philly can't beat? The answer is no.
And that's where a lot of my projections come in.
But can
I
they
mean,
beat themselves? Yes.
they could. You're right. But
They
I
did
look
a year
around the
ago.
NFC. There's not a team in the NFC that I'm afraid of. Detroit
Right.
is really good. I'll give Detroit credit. They're
Yeah,
really
but
good.
guess what? We'll wait and see what they lost
Exactly.
Aiden Hutchinson. That's got to
Exactly.
play a factor.
Exactly. Let's see. The war of attrition is also something that
Yeah.
matters in a big way. So,
Dude, I'll tell you what, you lose another player in that defense up in Detroit, and you got a trading deadline coming up next week, and you don't make any moves, and you lose that kid Campbell at linebacker. How good are you really going to be up there in Detroit if you drop? Or how about this one? God forbid you drop Jalen Carter in the middle of that defense. How are you
well,
going to look?
yeah.
So that's all a part of this.
No, it is. I mean, that's the NFL, though, right? I mean, shit. When
Totally.
you're talking to a fan that won a Super Bowl.
That's
Though,
why it's a
quarterback.
changing.
I mean,
That's why it's a changing of the guard every week.
no, I get it. You're right about that. There's no doubt. But when I look at everything, I think the Eagles are in a good spot if they can build on what they've done. If they're going to try and be something they're not, I'm going to go back to criticizing them and
They're
thinking
more
that
of
we
what
don't have a chance.
they are and who they are right now.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they're starting to show some really positive signs. And I think, to be honest with you, I think as much as I know that we go as far as Jalen takes us, that defense has given me a lot of confidence. Because remember, we thought we had Super Bowl aspirations if they were top 18, 15. Right now, they look better than that. Now, will they hold it? That's a question that still is yet to be answered. But if they are, I mean, shit, I like us versus anybody. I really do. Now, doesn't mean we're going to win every game. Doesn't mean that we have the greatest team on earth. But I just like the setup for the Eagles in the NFC. It's so wide open right now. There's just nobody that really scares me. I mean, just look through it, right? I mean, Commanders, I'm sorry, not really.
Nope.
NFC West, I mean, 49ers are probably going to be somebody, but we'll see. Cardinals, no, don't really scare me. Lions and Packers, the NFC North is solid.
I want to see what the Niners look like when they get McCaffrey back on November 5th.
Yeah, we'll see what they look like. I don't think you can count them out because they got a lot of good players.
You can't count them out because the NFC, I think, keeps everyone in it.
Well, yeah, it does. I mean, the NFC is so wide open right now; it's almost hard to look at. I mean,
would this shock you if you saw a combination of this in the NFC Championship game? The Rams versus the Lions, or the Eagles versus the 49ers, or Washington versus Chicago. That's probably the furthest stretch, right? Because of the two rookie quarterbacks.
right.
Okay. That's probably the biggest stretch there. Okay. I mean, so again, let's read these super chats, Zander.
Yeah. I see Shitlist Kim has decided to show up. Prince Swayze checks in. The Bengals lost to the Chiefs by 1 and lost to the Ravens by 3.
Such a stupid metric.
We beat the Browns, who beat the Ravens. It's week by week who plays on the schedule. Yeah, Prince, but
That's
I
what
try
he's
not to
saying,
look.
though. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
I get what he's saying too, but I don't.
Yeah.
I agree with
No,
that.
I don't look at it like that. Week in and week out, Prince. I think that's what you're saying. I agree with you.
Silz wants us to forget the 4 total touchdowns Hurts had.
That's what I want you to do. Okay.
You know, it is weird.
You're going to have to win a
Wait,
Super
can I ask you a real football question?
Sure.
When is a team going to figure out how to stop the tush push?
I've never seen anything like it.
It's weird. Like it's almost weird.
I told a guy last night, can I tell you what that play reminds me of? The Kareem Abdul-Jabbar skyhook. You couldn't defend it.
Right.
I don't know how you defend that. I just don't know how you defend it, man. I mean, get this. You know, they've gotten closer on it. It's the two quarterbacks. Carson Wentz was 26 and 28 at it, and now this guy too.
I think Stoutland deserves some credit too.
It's got to be Jeff.
I mean, the reason I say that is because, like, you watch the Bengals. The Bengals knew what gap the Eagles were going through. What was it, the A gap there, or whatever it is behind
the left side when he went over and
they knew.
Yeah,
they said
gaps.
Trey Hendrickson went over the top, and the Hubbard guy, I believe, went over there. They knew where they were going, and they still couldn't stop it. And that's where I'm like, we live every down, every play, every drive for the Eagles were 1st and 9. I mean, that's how I look at it.
I played goal line defense before, and I've never seen where you just can't stop a goal line.
I know
goal line play like that. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's really weird. Barkley Offensive Player of the Year or too soon?
Henry.
He's
He's
having a nice season, but
I'll tell you what, though, Jeff. Let's see how it plays out, though. If they do
Offensive Player of the Year, don't they do it by conference?
Yes, they do it by conference.
Yeah,
Could
so
he
he
be
could win the NFC potentially. I'd have to look.
I'll
I
tell
don't
you
know
what,
who's
that guy Aaron Jones up there in Minnesota is having a hell of a year too,
didn't he
dude.
miss a couple games though?
I
Or
thought
did
he
he
had
not?
3 touchdowns last week.
Josh B checks in. What would be a good draft spot for Davis?
I'm
Do you
not
need a
sure.
nose tackle too high of a pick for only a run stop guy? But where should he have been picked? I think
I
he should
said
have been picked
22,
yeah,
25.
right there. Right
Okay.
around there.
Hey, by the way, Josh, 25 or 22? Well, that's all right. I'm all right with that with him down there. 13, you needed more in the pass rush, and he's not giving you any production. And if you're now telling me he's a first and second down guy, but like Zander said, the problem you have is not that what he said, he's a run stop guy. He's only getting 20 plays a game.
Yeah, I mean,
You
Yale
can't
says,
have
yeah,
that.
I hear your point, but dude, it's like even Johnny Mack is telling me it's interesting because he doesn't know what they're going to do because he's been good as a nose, but 20 snaps is not enough to quantify
Are you
the
going to give
draft
him?
pick or the next contract.
Are you going to give him $12 million
I don't know. I don't see
for
it.
20 plays?
I don't see it.
Not me.
You know what I think it will come down to? What Vic Fangio says. Like if Vic is like, I need that guy, maybe. If he's like, we
I
can
think
get
Milton
somebody
Williams
else.
is better.
I know, but Milton Williams can't do what Jordan does.
What is he doing of 20 plays?
When they line up in the 5-man front.
Man, that's a lot of money for a guy.
I know. I agree.
Man,
I agree. I agree. He's a tough conversation. It's interesting to. Josh, thanks for the super chat, man. Dor Gunner says the ghost of Dan Snyder's past are being exercised this season. Us Commanders fans deserve this. Philly games are going to be awesome and fun to watch. Dor, we're going to blow your doors off, Dor Gunner. We're going to throw. Actually, I might predict the sweep of the Commanders this year. I think you guys are a whole lot of fairy dust and way too much hype, and I need to see more.
Hey, did you like my idea to bring a brick to the link for Josh Harris so he could build his arena down in Chinatown? Instead of giving you financial funds, just bring a brick from one of the broken down buildings you got in Philly, because I'm not giving that dude shit.
This team hasn't had a winning season since 2015, where they were 9-7.
They got great coaching. They got great coaching in that building right now going on, though.
Yeah, I'm not a Quinn guy, but I do like.
Well, I'll tell you what. He's been to a Super Bowl too, like your boy has as a head coach, and he has a ring as a coordinator.
Now,
okay, I forgot. Nick's Chuck Noll. Go ahead.
Commanders don't scare me. I'm sorry, they don't. Do something first. Prince Swayze. The Saints were coming off blowing out two teams, scoring over 45 points. They were 2-0. You said we didn't stand a chance. Now the narrative has changed.
Oh, because the team has changed.
Prince, the Saints suck, dude. That's not a good win. I'm sorry.
Prince, they changed because the team changed. They're 2-5. Holy shit. Go ahead, please. I can't take that guy. He's
the elite.
elite.
I like that. I like that one there. Philly special makes Doug a legend. Yes,
sure
always sunny. Yes, it does.
It sure does.
This proves the NFL. Oh, I think you got these. This proves the NFL is weak as shit this year. It is. It is. One more we got. Will Dan Campbell be a Hall of Fame at the end? Too early to say that, man.
Absolutely. And by the way, Yale, he also has an NFC championship ring as a head coach of the Falcons.
Wait, there's people. Wait, let me ask a couple of these people. Zander's moving mad.
What?
Zander talking heavy. So now Philadelphia, they get a quarterback who puts together 5 good games, and the whole city of Philadelphia is going to sit here and act like the Washington Commanders are the greatest thing to ever happen in the NFL.
Wait, you paid a guy $250 million after 17.
I know that these are listeners of the Big Silz Show who tells you all the time about, not jumping on one game or it's 7 games.
Absolutely.
It's 7 games, guys.
He looks awful good, but you're right.
I mean, they had 4 field goals and a lucky ass Hail Mary to beat the measly Bears.
Hey, how's that Anthony Richardson working out in Indianapolis right now?
That dude stinks.
Hey, I gotta come out. They benched him because he's an asshole. Have you ever seen a guy benched because he's an asshole? That league doesn't do that, dude. They benched him because he's an asshole.
Look, Kim's talking about how elite she is because she's training for a marathon. Congratulations, Kim. You know what you're not elite at, Kim? Consuming martinis and being a rational human being, because Kim on Sunday came in my inbox, my email inbox, crying up a storm like an emotional, erratic freak because she didn't know how to click a link in the chat.
Oh my
Kim,
God,
you're on
Kim,
my shit list, Kim.
I want you to stop, Kim, because you have to stop. I love you,
I mean,
Kim.
I finished the
You
post
have-
game show.
you
I'm like,
have
what
to
a great
stop.
show. Jacob Nation showing
Hey,
out. Had
Kim,
great conversation with everybody.
will you
I'm like,
please
what's
stop,
this email?
Kim? Kim, stop it, Kim. I want you to do me a favor. When you're on his shit list, here's what you do. Let it go. Let it go, Kim.
No.
Okay?
Kim will be called out. Kim will be
You
called
called
out.
her out 2 days in a row now.
Good. She should have thought about that before she dropped a nasty ass email
And
in my inbox.
Kim, I got to tell you, he's right. Okay? Come on now. Let's go here.
Clary Voice says,
I love
Eagles
you, Kim.
stats will be inflated. 3 teams with winning record left on schedule will be 22 all over again. Strength of schedule. NFC North has its own division. Eagles will be number 1 spot, top 5. What's DO?
God knows. God knows. Strength of schedule. Clairvoyant. Try giving us an uncomplicated super chat. By the way, I totally appreciate you, brother. And if you write down something that we can decipher here, okay, I'll comment on it here in a second.
What do you mean? What's so hard to? The only thing I don't understand is the end. Eagles stats will be inflated because there's 3 teams with a winning record left on the schedule. Yeah, they're playing a bunch of stiffs.
So why are you so angry today? What's your problem, man? Why are you so angry today?
I'm fired up.
Now you're angry, Zander. Before you're pander, Zander. Now you're angry, Zander. What's going on here? Why are you so pissed off? Sounds like somebody pissed on your back here. What's going on? Why are you
know what I'm pissed off about? That Philadelphia is laying down.
You're blowing him up for a second day in a row. You're kissing Jalen Hurts' ass. You're awful mean right now. Why are you mean? What's going on here?
Because Philadelphia is laying down and acting like I need to fear the Commanders. The Commanders. They can't even keep their own identity over there.
Angry Zander today, man.
As the Redskins, they got to change the pander to everybody else. Talk about pandering. Holy mackerel. They get rid of their entire identity as a franchise. And they got one dude who shows up who's like 190 pounds, and I'm supposed to fear him because he had a couple good weeks. Let me see it. All right? Let me see it.
Jesus.
For all the criticism on Jalen Hurts, I've watched him win playoff games.
Oh, I see now. Boy, you're angry on the criticism of Jalen Krause. I got it.
I'm a little hangry. Charlie says hangry. I might be a little. First off, Silz bumped me from 3:30, which I'm not used to. Now I got production to do. I'm going to be working all night. Philly doesn't let me get in my bag. And now he's giving me BS on the list.
Wait a second here. You have to filibuster him like you do McMullen when you're talking around here, because these 2 guys want to put a bill on the floor and they want to make sure they jam it home. Holy cow. Top 10 quarterback off of the Bengal game. Congratulations to you. Way to go.
The Commanders are 66 and 87 since 2015.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, let me just lay down and act like they're 130 and 183 since 2005. They're an inept franchise. They suck. They've won. What do they have? 1 playoff win in like 20 years? Like, I don't fear them. I think the Cowboys have a better chance to beat us once this year than the Commanders do. What's that?
You got more Super Bowls than you.
Well, when?
I'm just saying. You want to go back in history here. Let's go history lessons here.
I'm going in the last 20 years.
The ones that matter. Okay.
Well, no, just the modern era of times.
All right.
When did the salary cap start?
Angry Zander, man. I got it here.
When did the salary cap start?
Early 2000s? Something like that.
I'm not putting any words in your mouth, Flex.
Holy cow. Angry Zander.
I didn't even mention your name, Flex. Come on, man. Don't make me come for your ass,
Flex,
too. Right
he's
now.
coming after everybody today here, man. Holy
cow. You're slashing people with a knife.
No doubt, man. This guy's like the hillside strangler over here going after folks, man. What's that? 95 that's when the cap was implemented? Was 90? No. Was that when the cap was implemented? Was 95? Was it during Jimmy?
Yes, Zeal. This is correct. Anything before I was born don't mean shit. When's the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl? I was born in 98.
Well, they won a Super Bowl in 96. I think 96 and 94.
Flex says, I don't want that smoke. All right, Flex, you go lay down to the Commanders, my dude.
All right, let me get you the hell out of here. You're so angry, man. You need to have anger management classes.
No, I don't. Shut up.
Holy cow, man. Oh my God. This is the angriest I've ever seen you, man. I mean,
Jalen Hurts playing like a top 10 quarterback.
oh,
Defense number 1 in the league since the bye week.
playing
I'm
like
feeling pretty good.
Jalen Hurts is playing like a top 10 wishbone quarterback. He surely is. He looks good at it, too. Zander, holy cow. This was on fire today, man. You banged on, you hit on, and you kicked everyone around today, man. Everybody.
I wasn't trying to pick on
Don't
anybody.
ever move Zander. Hey, by the way, before I get you
I didn't pick on anybody except for Kim.
Hey, how about this? Yankees finished tonight?
That's another thing I'm not ready to say. Well, look, hear me out. Dodgers have a bullpen game tonight, right?
Yeah.
You know, maybe they come into this game, they give up a couple runs early. I mean, I want to say the Yankees are out because they look lifeless and they're not fun to watch. Like, they don't look like a team that's in the World Series. They're completely lifeless. And you get the 5 in the lineup, it's like Derek goes a chance at a run, right? I mean, there's the back end dudes. Now I know that Verdugo had a home run last night in the bottom of the 9th, but I don't know, man. They don't look very good.
This looks like one of the worst World Series Yankee teams of all time.
I know. You know, it's funny about Aaron
We're
Judge.
going to get swept for the first time since 1976, and it's going to be in their building just like it was when they got swept by the Reds.
Good night, Yanks. You might be right about that. Ohtani is the GOAT. Ohtani hasn't done much in this series.
Yeah, but that shows you how deep that roster is. Because
yeah, right. It's more the Dodgers than it is Ohtani.
Freddie Freeman's going to win the MVP award.
Wait, so let me ask you this, because you're a Yankee honk. Is Aaron Judge going to go down as the worst Yankee captain of all time?
He is right now the Lamar Jackson of baseball. Hey, great during the regular season.
No, but I mean, if you think about Yankee captains, I mean, Derek Jeter had 5 world titles.
Yeah, okay. And Munson had 3. The guy before that, Elston Howard, had 7. What's his name? Garrick there's only been 5, I believe. Garrick had 9. I mean, dude, you can't get swept like that and then do dick in it. You just can't.
No, you can't.
I mean, I don't care how many home runs he's hit, dude. You're not, when you go to New York, dog, you're not gauged on what home runs you hit. You're gauged on world.
Yeah, Aaron better show up.
Yankees don't hang AL pennants in the outfield like the Phillies do. Hanging NL pennants. Wait, they don't do that shit.
How many Phillies fans are in the chat right now? I'm curious. I'm curious how many Philly fans are in the chat. Phillies, not Philly. Phillies fans.
You guys hang AL National League East pennants.
Wait, you want to know what's worse than that? You want to know what's worse than that? The Phillies, you know what their number 1 hype song is to get ready for a World Series?
Tell me.
They're talking about getting cucked. I'm in the corner watching you kiss her. I'm like, what is this dorky ass song that this team is playing to get jacked up for the World Series? I can't stand that stupid song. And then I think about professional athletes dancing to it in the locker room with their shirts off. And I'm like, all right, this team is too fruitcakey for me.
No doubt. You need to wear a thong in the baseball dugout there if you're a Phillies guy, because that's a thong
brutal.
song.
I mean, seriously, Sue, who picked that thing? And better, who agreed to make it? I mean, who agreed to make it the song? And not only for like 3 straight years now, that's been their rally cry. 3 straight years of singing that weird song about watching somebody kiss your girl. It's really a weird thing.
Is that Katy Perry song?
No, it's by some dude, and it was funny. I think he did a concert in Philly, and his concert ended up being the day after they got knocked out, which was hilarious.
Let me go.
That makes a lot of sense. Garrett Stubbs picked it. Yeah, Crowley, that might be the first mistake with that franchise.
Hey, let me go. I want to take a timeout. We'll wrap it up. Hey, great stuff, Zander.
I'm going to be working all night now. Thanks, Silz. Appreciate everybody. Sorry if I was a little too angry today. Kim, you know I love you, but stay out of my email inbox after a couple martinis. I mean, seriously. If you're having martinis, Jacob's not for you, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you, Zander. All good, man. Do me a favor. Hit the button. Hey, he's no longer Pander Zander. He's now Angry Zander. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.